Hey guys, Combo Builder here today with some Magic Online, Magic the Gathering Online Modern Cube. So let's see here. I like to think I'm fairly good at drafting, but this is a new format for me. I haven't really done this a whole lot. I haven't really looked at the lists. Just seems to be like a lot of cards that are decent in Modern. You build a deck out of it and you have a good time. I've done 2 other drafts, and I know against any fair deck, Ashiok and Nightmare. Otherwise, in this pack, Spellskite, probably not first pick. Avacyn, solid card. Koth, solid card. Like, we could always force mono red. Koth's really good for that. Otherwise, there's really nothing we want to wheel out of that, so it's not insane. Ashiok, I was watching Nuot the Nummy with a Modern video. People were giving him a lot of crap for not picking Ashiok, like first or second pick. I usually play against it, so playing with it might be a good change of pace. But yeah, the contenders I feel like out of this pack: Koth, Ashiok, Avacyn, and to some degree like cultivates, lands and stuff. But we're gonna go with Ashiok first pick here. Hopefully the audio is going well and the video quality is high enough so that's tolerable. All right, this pack. What do we got that sticks out? Mana Leak's probably fine. Thoughtseize. Terracodon for the decks, Reanimator type Grizzlebrand, and Offenza. I believe the Madcaps combo has to be in here along with, we just saw Kitchen Finks, so we just passed half the combo there. I like Dark Confidants in any kind of list to play here. It'll probably be good to have card advantage. Let's see here. Silent Visitor, interesting. Den Protector, interesting. Not really what we're looking for. Interesting card. Spell Queller, that is. Thoughtseize or Dark Confidant is kind of what I'm leaning towards. And I think I might go with Bob here just because he's probably the more card advantage. The Thoughtseize can kind of screw people over. That is the trade-off. I think Dark Confidant kind of... I don't want to say too much. I think Dark Confidant probably goes in a bit more than Thoughtseize does, but that... I'm probably wrong. Probably wrong there, guys. Probably. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be first and foremost with that. So in this pack, notables: Jace, not a bad card. You just 4 mana draw 1 to 3 cards, or 1 to 2 cards. Olivia Valderin, interesting. Aether Sphere Harvester, new card. Angel of Jubilation. And triple white, pretty restricting right away. Like, we're not super committed to either of these colors, so like, we suddenly saw a crap ton of red cards go around. We could still transition to like mono red at this point. And to note, we are in league drafting, so we will not be facing the opponents we draft with. Very likely, we will not be. This might just be a polluted delta. I heavily favor mana fixing in almost any format. Consistency will win you games. Some people will falter, and then you just win. So. Other contenders are like Serum Visions. I don't know. It's a good card. I'll take good cards. Dragon Lord Slumgar kind of goes in the same vein as that, though it's a little awkward with Bob. Flipping Slumgar with Bob could be lethal. We'll leave it at that. What else do we have in this pack? Glenelendra Archmage, very solid card. Nightfall Spectre, probably not what we want to be doing. Otherwise, there's like a dual land here, so that works well with our fetch land. Murderous Cut, so cards I'm considering in this pack. Slumgar, Murderous Cut, Glenelendra. And based off this route, actually Murderous Cut's pretty bad with Bob too, I'm not gonna lie. Shoot. I think realistically people are playing a lot of creatures in this one, so maybe we want the Dragon Lord. 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, this one's Oblivion Stone, Luteral Core, Anticipates, Abyssal Persecutor, Drana, Smash Sideboard. Interesting cards. So this pack, it's between like Anticipate and Oblivion Stone. Anticipate lets us play instant speed kind of end step control. Oblivion Stone is just removal. Like, otherwise, blue-black is probably pretty light in removal, as far as mass removal. Otherwise, then Damnation. So, with that being said, I think Anticipate is a more replaceable effect, and Oblivion Stone is not. These other cards are fine, but we'll go with Oblivion Stone. Kind of nombo, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, this pack, Underground River, is a dual land in our colors. Everflowing Chalice is a 0-off Bob, but it can cast for a lot. Flame Javelin for the red deck. Gifted Aetherborn is a Vampire Nighthawk without flying for 1 less mana, which is probably reasonable. Martial Coup is a board wipe at 7 mana. This one, you guys will notice this a lot. I heavily favor fixing. Like, this lets us, in case we don't go straight blue-black, or we go, like, blue, or we go, like, black splash another color, fixing lets us do that. Otherwise, Bant Charm? Interesting. Interesting spell. Ooh, alright, so this one, there's some questions here. I guess the one I'm hovering on right now, Blood Gift Demon. He draws a card a turn, and he can, I guess, technically get that last point of damage in or two. Tamio the Moonsage is pretty insane. She can lock down stuff at 5 mana. So basically, she protects herself when she enters, or she can tax her opponent. Otherwise, if you're like behind, you can play her, draw a bunch of cards, which, arguably okay. So in this pack, I've already picked up 2 dual lands. So I might want like a Phyrexian Arena or Thirst for Knowledge. But I think I'm just going to go with the land and kind of stay open and see which direction we kind of fit. And maybe that was incorrect. Maybe I should have taken the action versus the land. But like I said before, I really, really favor consistency. Alright, now this one, there's not a whole lot. Like, this is a good card. I mean, these are good cards. Dreadbore is interesting. Like, actually, that's sideboardable for us. Or that's not sideboardable. It's splashable. Jinx Collar. I think I have gun to my head. I'm probably just going to take Lily here. Yeah. I could have splashed it there. Otherwise, Ulcerate's a fine card. Whirl a Rogue into the Royal. All fine cards. I think I might take this for the early game. Because it's looking like we're going to be a little bit slower. Otherwise, both of these, like, these 3 cards are pretty good. Solid sideboard, land fixing, board wipe, protection for your combo or whatnot. I think for this pack we're going to go with Ulcerate just because it's a little lower mana. Alright, so the Thoughtseize wheeled, so we didn't get punished. Notable wheels, not really. Yeah, we'll take Thoughtseize. Alright. For this, let's think about this. Do I want a Bloodline Keeper in this list? You know, I don't know. Shadow Mage draws, or lets you just draw a card on damage, and it's got Fear, which is kind of sucky since it's 2 colors. I think I might go for the potential game winner here, since that's more of a win condition. Also, geez, I don't know if we can play Bob in this list anymore. Let's go with the removal. Ooh. I mean, I think this is fine. I'll take good spells. Black is clearly open, people. So open and so high mana cost that Bob feels kind of awkward here, but if we can limit our higher drops, but I mean, if we end up getting like an Ugin or a Karn or another Planeswalker, probably gonna take out Bob. Or a Grave Titan. Oof. And a Frost Titan. Man, this pack is actually insane for us. Creeping Tar Pit, Grave Titan, Frost Titan, Yahenni's Expertise, though we're kind of getting a little farther away from that. Yeah, geez. Even the red deck, it's got Char, Fiery Crusader, Rabid Bite, surprisingly a good card. A dual land, Repeal's not bad either. Like, I'd probably take, like, Mistraven if there weren't these other cards. Like, it's probably Grave Titan, Frost Titan, Creeping Tar Pit, and then probably between... Well, actually, I'd probably take Yahenni's, because depending on how it works. But Grave Titan is a Grave Titan. Yeah, that's got to be the right pickup. And this is the kind of list where we could... Well, yeah, Massacre Worm's pretty good, too. But what else is in this pack? A Doomblade, Massacre Worm. So all those other black cards wield, so Massacre Worm might wield. I know that sounds crazy. It's a really good card, but we still have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 14 cards. So I'll see 6 of these back, 6 or 7 of these back. And there's some decent ones, like Ishimaru is good for the white attack. These are all fine cards, actually. Like Fixing, more good for both the white and red deck. Crater of Behemoth for that list. So I think I'd rather have the removal. Yeah. Like, I already feel like our late game's going to be pretty dang good. So I'd rather get to the late game. Soren Markov. Spiketail Drakeling. Mind Stone. Baneslayer's good. I mean, not for our list. Not for more or less mono black. That's why I heavily favor Fixing. Let's just be mono black, but like a light splash of blue with no questions asked. So this is where we can question him bringing in like Soren, right? Spiketail Drakeling, not really a very splashable card. This gets bad late game, so you want to be able to hit it on turn 3, so that way you can just force them to play around a Rune Snake for the rest of the game. Other good cards, Mind Stone's not bad. Does more or less what you want. But this one, I think we're just going to take Soren. And we're probably going to cut Bob. This is not, like, a controlling list like this does not want to be ripping, Soren, Markov into Grave Titan, into Dragon Lord, into that. Yeah, it's just probably not what we want to do. Now, this pack is pretty bad for us. What can we take out of it to salvage it? So, like, Condescend? Yeah. That's probably the card for us here. Like, it's good. Even if you can't get it to where they can't cast it, it's still Scry 2 for 1 blue. Like, worst case. And it's not like a restrictive. See, we don't get these board wipes, but I think Condescend's the pick here. Could play it. We'll see what it turns out. Black Sun Zenith. Disfigure Grey Merchant. Grey Merchant's pretty good from, all these black symbols here. That's probably going to wheel. A card I feel like less likely to wheel. Actually, Confiscate's pretty good. Gideon Jura's good in the white control lists. Because he's so big, he pluses so much each time and he can kill things. It's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, all these are solid cards. I think the least replaceable effect in this is Black Sun Zenith, so we're going to take that. It gives us a way to kill our own Abyssal Persecutor. Whip of Erebos is also an interesting effect. We're only at 6 creatures at this point. But if we do play that, we can almost play Bob, but... Night's Whispers draws us some cards, even on the splash. We'd much prefer to have like actually, it's only 2 mana. And we could get away with what is it called? It's the black, draw 2, lose 2, instant speed, target player. So, this would be interesting if we have way to discard stuff, or if they kill our things. Plus, it gives our stuff lifelink. But I think I want the draw. Ooh, we can do it. Like I was saying earlier, we're the Phyrexian Obliterator list. Oh man, we're getting there. We're getting there, folks. Soul Reap, what's that do? Destroy non-green creature? Yeah, I suppose that's fine. It's perfectly a serviceable card, but we have... What's this even do? Interesting. So one... So like, it's... I'm going to reserve this, but it's 3 mana. So turn 2 Looter. Turn 4 Drawer. If you just pour mana into it. Yeah. Spicy. Interesting. Alright. Kirkesh. Ugh. You can always fake people out with the Pestermite combo. Pestermite, Splinter Twin, or Kiki Jiki, the Mirror Breaker. They gotta be in here. I haven't seen... Actually, I think I've seen Kiki Jiki, but... So I think this one... I mean, I do value land quite a bit. This one I'm not too sure on. I think I might take the Linder. I don't want any more big drops. Yeah, I said earlier Mistraven would be fantastic, but at this point I'm a little less willing to say that because, we've picked up maybe, 1 Condescend So we're going to go with Haney's expertise over the other thing. And Massacre Worm, like I said, folks, it's going to wheel. So it wheeled. We don't have any dual, like, fetchable blue-black lands, so this Bloodstained Mire is just a Bloodstained Mire for us. So I'm going to take the Massacre Worm. Decent chance of being pretty good by itself. Cards that we would potentially splash, I guess the closest thing is, I don't know. This is just a hate. Okay, here's the thing. We're not going to play against any of this stuff, so you just take the card that's most likely to make it in your deck, and which is Rousarek. And this one, it's probably a Cinderglade. And Grey Merchant wheeled. So that's a 6. Young Pyro. So, like, Cinderglade's possible to play if we get, like, a overgrown, or what's it called? Verdant Catacomb. Unburial Rites. Combos with Gifts Ungiven with plus a dude who's got, or plus any fatty like Massacre Worm or Grave Titan. All decent Reanimator choices. Distended Mindbender would give us a way to get rid of our Abyssal Persecutor. It's a 4-mana 6/6, but we can't win with that on the battlefield. Sphinx's Rev, land, Anger is good for board. I like lands, not really that. I'm not really looking for that. Icy Manipulator's fine, return to dust, sideboard material. Aggressive Whitelist, solid card in the green deck, because he's very resilient threat. I've played him before, had a good time, and I almost double-clicked and took him, but I don't want to take him. So I think this time I'm going to take Distended Mindbender. Another reason not to play Dark Confidant, unless we're living with fire. And we're probably not playing this Runescar Demon, by the way. Just a little too cute. And it's not super likely we'll play... Let's put these up here. Our fatties, our X spells. Make it a little bigger. Alright, so what do we got here? Ouna. Interesting. Sword of Temptation, double blue, kind of prohibitive cost. Tragic Slip gives us a way to kill our Abyssal Persecutor. Plus it's a solid card on its own rights. Lifebane Zombie probably will wheel. Maybe Slaughter Pact will. I don't think so. It's a good card. But, Feldar Cavern. We saw a Saheeli earlier, so that's something someone can do it. I'm not going to do it. But if they want to, they can go right ahead. So this pack... Oh, speaking of Unburial Rights, typically, like, a modern list, modern gifts given combo runs like Elshnorn, Iona, so you can't cast spells. Iona's got choose a color on enter, so that way they can't cast spells. Alright, this list... Oh wow, this is not gonna lie, this is kind of insane for us. Like, Obnix is good, Hypnotic Spectre is good, even Phantasmal Image is good. What else? Yeah, Far and Away. It's got bounce and sack a creature with fuse. So for 5 mana, you can make them bounce their weaker creature and sacrifice their bigger creature if they only have 2. Otherwise, it's instant speed, so combat tricks. We're a little light on the 3-drop. Well, we're a little light on the 1-drops too. Actually, yeah. So I wouldn't mind Ob, but I don't think we need much more expensive stuff. Removal will be fine. Hypnotic Spectre, since it's discarded at random, is pretty good. Plus, there is an old Magic the Gathering game called Shalandar, and where it's like an RPG-ish type game, and Hypnotic Spectre's in that, and he's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Oh, speaking of the combo. This pack, I mean, Jace is pretty good, but we won't play Jace early. What else in this pack sticks out? I don't think this guy's going to be fantastic. He relies on your opponent having good creatures. Compulsive Research, good for getting there when you need to. Control or Counter Magic's always solid at least. Loku, pretty good. I haven't had a chance to play with him, so I'm not sure the exact correct way to play it, but it seems like you just kind of play him make a bunch of 1/1s when you can. So that way you hit your land drops and you can possibly make them a win condition. But this one, it's very easy Vampire Nighthawk. We already have Gifted Aetherborn, and they have to play together. Yeah. Scalding Tarn. This is where like Cinderglade gets playable. So if we had like the blue-black duel, we could play, or even the black-red duel too. We can play Scalding Tarn, but otherwise, there's not much in it for us other than like a Revoker or a Giraffe's Messenger. We're gonna take that. Probably not playing Oblivion Stone with this list. On second thoughts, this would get us white, hilariously enough for the combo, for Gifts Ungiven and Unburial Rights, but yeah, we're pretty far away from that. Do I have any other zombies? That's a zombie. That's a demon. That's not. You make zombies. You're a zombie. Are you a zombie? You're just a specter. Sure. As far as I'm talking at this one, I don't think I want this though, because it's not a May. So I might take like a Imprison in the Moon as like a sideboard option in case I'm playing like Reanimator or something silly. Not really thinking anything else is playable. Maybe we've already got other good options for draw. Herald of Torment, Delver of Secrets, Grafted Wargear. You're interesting. Give us something +3/+3 flying for 5. Get over there with a Gifted Aetherborn, or otherwise, potential cards are like Terramorphic Expanse, because again, I heavily favor fixing. I think our deck's already sweet, and we would only look for supplementary cards, and I don't think we need like a Herald of Torment in this list. Grafted Wargear, +3/+2, make thing add a Delver basically. Delver isn't. Speaking of Delver, we'll just take Terramorphic Expanse and have that much better mana. All right. Lightning Bolt's fun. Steam Vents is where we can. So, here's the fun part. Like that's if we wanted to, mind you. I'm not gonna do it, but that's how you would splash for like Rouse Wreck. It would give us the ability to play like one mountain, have 1, 2, 3, 4 sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources. Sorry, I'm gonna take Lily here. I think she's probably fantastic. Speaking of Unburial Rights, we saw the lands that got passed around us. There's nothing that's gonna do anything for us. So we'll just take a Skin Render. I mean, removal's good, right? Life Bane's on. We're probably not looking for any more of those effects. However, 3/1 Intimidate. If we're playing off color, we probably really want that. Otherwise, Slaughter Pack's probably. It's the removal we don't deserve. Ooh, in this wield. So we're obviously in the correct colors. Like we cut black pretty hard. Like, we cut all the good black cards, and I guess no one was playing it. Maybe they don't think black's very good in this cube. That's possible. I tend to play a lot of colors people don't think are good in cubes and have moderate success. So as much as I want Obnix, far and away, definitely with the pickup. Wow. Insane. I'm going to let somebody sneak in with that combo at the end. Hopefully they have a good time with it. I'll just hate on them. I'll just take the black card in the pack. Scalding Tarn. I guess it technically could replace like an island. Is a charm, actually. So technically we could probably play this as a charm or Ral Zarek, but there's no need to since the rest of our card quality is pretty dang high. In fact, we're probably like we're cutting some stuff here. So as far as actual like what we're playing, we have 14 creatures and 15 non, so that means probably cutting some non-creatures. What does this look like if we just cut blue? 25? But we're losing Ashiok, and at this point, let's get these crap out of the way. At this point, we have 5, so we're basically getting a free splash for at least Ashiok. Slumguard might be in here, might sneak in, and that's probably just too good of a combat trick. So let's group creatures separately. So lots of like permanents here, some drawing. A lot of good stuff at 3 CMC or less for Yahenni's expertise. Definitely not a Bob list. But, I mean, I could probably make it, just cut off everything at this mana cost. But, I mean, Grave Titan's Grave Titan, Phyrexian Obliterator is Phyrexian Obliterator. The only way this could probably be better is if we had, like, a Dark Ritual. But I don't think that's in Modern, so... Is it? It probably is. I don't know. I didn't get it. That's all that really matters. I want these spells. I want these. So probably cutting Sorin probably doesn't do enough for me. I need to cut, what, 5 more? At least, about 5 more. Okay. Alright, my creatures, that's about where I need to be for creatures. So it comes to this. This is where the difficult picks. So my removal suite is Murderous Cut. This is my removal. Eight pieces of removal. That's pretty insane. I mean, I guess when I compare this to like standard, sets for drafting, I typically go 15 creatures plus or minus 1, and then 8 non-creatures, or about 8 non-creatures plus or minus 1, and about 17 lands plus or minus 1. Kind of however that fits together. If it's a lower curve, you go little. Maybe you're playing like a bunch of 1 and 2 drops, and you play maybe 16 lands. This, however, we want to hit 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana on curve, and we have just a Night's Whispers and a Phyrexian Arena to get there. Does this give us at least a land? Just a creature card? Okay. So we have unlimited time since this is a league. Normally you'd have like 10 minutes, which normally I can do everything in about 10 minutes no matter what. That's the question remains. Is Yahenni's expertise something we want to play? All creatures get -3/-3. Considering that nukes most of our stuff, sort of. Nukes our lower spells. Maybe we cut Yahenni's if they're playing more of a go wide than we are and we can't really deal with what we have. Like, say they're playing like mono red. Maybe we can bring in Yahenni's expertise and maybe take out like an Ulcerate, because that does damage to us. Speaking of that, Slaughter Pact, maybe we start that in the sideboard. Now, normally, if this was like Swiss, I'd main deck Slaughter Pact, because we have most of the black cards, right? Like, there might be there's probably an opponent on the other side of the table who got some decent black cards, possibly, but we got most of the good stuff. Like, we're clearly the only one mono black, or mono black with a light splash, so I think that's fine. So that means we're probably cutting Slaughter Pact, because we are just as likely as to face black as we are to face another color, so we'll take that out, just because the rest of our removal is really good. And Yahenni's expertise, I guess I gotta compare that next to Black Sun Zenith, right? So Black Sun Zenith is pretty flexible, lets me X1, which would get rid of the +1/+1 on... No, that's a minus trigger. That's a -1/-1. Interesting choices. So maybe I don't have this conversation quite yet, and I think about Condescend. Am I going to really want to be holding up a blue at any point in the game? I think the answer is no, so we're going to cut this Condescend. Night's Whispers. We want to, on turn 2, that's about our only decent play. I mean, we might Doomblade, but probably not till later. And I guess maybe for a similar note, that's why you don't play Doomblade in Slaughter Pacts. Considering we have Murderous Cut, Tragic Slip, and Ulcerates, and this far away. Maybe that's closer to what it should be. This Liliana, does she do enough? I play her on turn 3. She slows down somebody and then dies, or I play her on turn like 5 or 6 after one of these guys have died. I think both are reasonable lines of play. I'm not sure which is ideal. I'm definitely not sure what's ideal, but if I had to guess, I'd say there's probably too much card advantage for us to take it out. That being said, how much removal versus card advantage do we want? How much time do we want to spend drawing? Right. That's also a non-creature. That should be down there. And that's a 2. So put that there. That's our draw. That's Sword of Removal. That's just kind of a catch-all. It's a pretty good card. It punishes risky keeps. As you guys know from Modern, if you any format that had Thoughtseize in it or has Thoughtseize in it, yeah, I think our creatures are exactly what we need them to be. Any fewer, and I'd feel a little sketchy. I mean, they all do good things. Like, they can all get there by themselves, is the best part, or they can hold the fort. I definitely want Ashiok. Like I said, he can just win a game by himself. Plays... Well, maybe for that reason we don't play Ashiok main board. If we play against the list where it feels like it's going to make sense to have Ashiok, we'll bring him in. Kind of like this whole package here. Yeah, we're starting to shape up a little bit. And I think the last cut, maybe we're an 18-lander here, just because we want to hit 6. No, that's probably coming off a 3-mana guy, like Drolf's Messenger or something. So yeah, it'll cost, what, 7 minus 3, which is 4. So he's probably like a 4-drop or a 3-drop off a 4-drop. I don't really want to cut this guy because he kills our Abyssal Persecutor, which so does Tragic Slip and Murderous Cut, and I guess Away does. We can target ourselves. I like how that's one of my bigger concerns. All these black mana symbols kind of makes me want to keep Liliana the Last Hope. Same with this Phyrexian Arena. So I guess with all of these, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 mana or less, which gives it the consideration over Black Sun Zenith. So our creatures do die. This is true. So that's like, what do I want it to do? And that's a 3/3/2. So this is like the last couple cuts. You know, you're getting kind of close. You're not exactly sure what you need to do. So I think for that reason, I think we're playing more of a board game than that. So let's see how that looks. Not bad. I mean, we're kind of a brick with creatures, so hopefully we draw one of these 3, 4, 5 spells in our opening turns. Otherwise, our first play is on turn 3. Ugh. But we can't play Bob on turn 2 because taking 5, 6, 8 seems pretty bad. And we don't want to play Oblivion Stone either because it's 3-drop, plus we're playing a lot of creatures and permanents. Otherwise, maybe bringing a Doomblade as more removal. But, I mean, I guess Murderous Cut's probably an earlier drop. Plus we got 2 fetch lands. So I think this is reasonable. I could probably be persuaded to maybe have some kind of weird sideboarding plan that involves this. Maybe not Scald and Turn. Any of these cards? I mean, obviously there's other cards. Maybe like an Is It Charm? Tough to say. It is indeed tough to say. I don't want to sort by CMC, I want to sort by color. Like, any of these cards are fine. Ashiok's fine. In fact, it feels weird not to play Ashiok. I mean, if we play against, like, a green deck that plays a lot of fatties, he's fantastic. So I will never need more than 1 blue for Far Away. Oh, I probably should add these lands in first. I probably don't even need to play City of Brass. Add these 4. If I play 1 island, that's 5 blue. If I had 2 islands, that's 7 or 6. If I had 2 more, so it's 3 islands. Maybe I play this, suck it up, just to have that little bit of extra fixing. If I die from City of Brass, I guess it's a little unfortunate. What does that give me? That gives me... Really? I'll pull these up here. Gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 black, which is enough for a Phyrexian Obliterator. Like, I would play a minimum, like, 14 for him. Like, I wouldn't play with any less than that many amount of black sources. And that's like, I'm going to cast you on turn 7. I don't know what the exact math lines up, but that's kind of the thoughts. So, this is option A. I feel like it's a reasonable choice. But, that being said, you know, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I feel like, yeah, probably Ashiok should be in this list. Main deck, but I don't know the format well enough, and I think this is probably a little bit better. If it turns out there's a lot of extra creatures and stuff, I can obviously bring in more stuff and switch my decks between rounds. But I think that's drafting with Matt, so we'll see you guys back for round number 1.